Good afternoon, class.
Good afternoon, Captain Pooch.
Class is in session. Let's begin because we've got a lot to discuss. Now, if you really want to know about the juicy details and leaks and rumors, you're going to have to wait till the end of the video. Just saying, so you might as well stick around. So first things first, this comes from the BBC and it says locomotive saved from scrap heap set for Hogwarts. The TLDR is that they have found their new Hogwarts Express. If you didn't know, the previous Hogwarts Express was actually saved from the scrapyard and refurbished or repurposed to be the Hogwarts Express that we saw in the movies. And basically that is the same thing that has happened here. Now I'm actually for this. I think preserving these beautiful old trains is an excellent thing. So I am sure, save the trains. Hashtag save the trains. Here is the announcement. Let me zoom in. This was basically from Facebook, if I'm not mistaken. It says Buckingham's Railway Centre is feeling excited. Exciting announcement. We are extremely proud to share that our beautifully restored steam loco Whitewick Hall will play the role of the iconic locomotive for the Hogwarts Express in the highly anticipated Harry Potter television series. Steam locomotive Whitewick Hall WR 4605M26989 was salvaged from Barry Island scrapyard in January 1978 by a group of our volunteers. She then went through a meticulous restoration process spanning over 40 years. Having once been bound for scrap metal, this stunning loco will now have the privilege of stepping up to play one of the most well-known steam locomotives in the world, and this collaboration will ensure its future for many years to come. We will share more details when we can. So that, honestly, that's pretty cool. Obviously, the colors need to be redone and whatnot, but hey, I'm for it. So that's some good news comes out of this horrific Harry Potter show. Next on the list, we have Bertie Carville, who is the new Cornelius Fudge. I had a little mini interview. He says, I've read one script, which I loved. I've read the books. I hadn't before I got the role. I think I saw one of the films, maybe two. Whether I come back after the first series probably depends on what the fans think. I mean, I'll be furious if it's not an amazing part. Ironically, it's just a bunch of not my Snapes at the bottom. It's like, he's got nothing to do with Snape, but okay, carrying on. Then we have John Lithgow is in the process of wardrobe fittings and hair and makeup tests. Now this comes from a little video, 59 seconds.
I have entered into a sort of Venn diagram period of my schedule where I'm running giant, but doing prep work for Harry Potter. And tomorrow I have wardrobe fittings, and Tuesday I have hair and makeup, and this is Dumbledore we're talking about.
Yeah.
And then I have to race back into town to do the show both nights.
Yeah, that's
Then
a
I have
lot.
2 on Wednesday. So I don't know when I'm going to eat.
Well, we better go have a...
So it sounds to me like he's just lamenting on what he, like his day. Oh, I have to do wardrobe fittings. Oh, I have to do hair and makeup. Oh, I get to do that. Like, shut up.
Silence!
Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is the Great Hall set. So there have been some leaks of the new set, and they did say they'd be reusing like the Great Hall because it's just so iconic and things like that. But we do see some more construction going on, so I thought I'd share that with you guys. Nothing super exciting, but it's a progress. Now here's where it gets super duper interesting, because there have been a whole bunch of new casting info and tidbits, and I don't like where this is going. Well, I don't particularly like where it's going. I see it could have some sort of potential later down the line, but I also feel like they're not going to be book accurate and they're expanding the lore. And here's my issue with that. You can't even get the casting right in the first place, which is based on the lore. How the hell do you expect me to think that you're going to respect the lore and expand it appropriately? Okay, let's just look at this bullshit that we got going on here. Okay. Casting info and tidbits below. As casting nears completion and there are very few roles left to be filled, let's get into a few things and what to expect. Expect world building, as previously mentioned. Characters that aren't in the first book will be in Series 1. Lots have already been mentioned. Fudge, Lucius, but Charlie Weasley or Hermione's mom, who now has a name Sarah, will help flesh out the world, along with more comprehensive Quidditch teams in Season 1. So here's my issue with that. Who named the woman, Sarah. Was it J.K. Rowling who said, yeah, her name is Sarah? It's always been Sarah, but I just never wrote it in the books. It was never established. Didn't really feel like giving Hermione's parents names, which, by the way, kind of weird. 7 books and no mention of Harry and Hermione's parents' names, like, ever. Weird, but I'm not okay with this. But also, maybe it'll be beneficial so when we get to season 7 and Hermione has to wipe her parents' memories, there'll be more of an emotion to it and more of a loss of Hermione, because it's not very, fleshed out in the books or even in the movies that, Hermione does wipe her parents' memories temporarily, but it obviously has a huge strain on her. Obviously, her parents don't even know who she is. That's horrible. But at the same time, Hermione's ditched her parents quite often in the books, so it's But Charlie Weasley not being in the first one, why would you put him in there then? If he's not there, you introduce him in book 4 properly, just like you do in the books. This is what I'm saying. You're expanding the lore, you're changing things, you're putting characters that shouldn't be in places. Why? What for? I don't understand. Also, the more comprehensive Quidditch teams in season 1, does that mean you're gonna give Katie and Angelina, Alicia more dialogue? I mean, they had some dialogue in the first book, in the second book, and obviously all the other books, but they were basically removed in the movies. If you're just gonna give them their dialogue, I'm fine with that. If you're gonna introduce a whole backstory to them, no, because they're not the main characters here. Just saying. Now, the rumor that this person called Horcrux in the Pocket says my own thoughts on this, as it allows for both time to be filled in the short books and allows for a bigger payoff down the line. It also points towards all major students having their parents on the platform on the first day. But we never see Hermione on the platform. We never meet her until on the train, so that's stupid. As previously mentioned a while back, don't expect a Voldemort to be cast in this season. I'd imagine it'll be CG and a voice actor. I know nothing on Ginny, but that doesn't mean she definitely is not in season 1, but it may make sense to wait. But she should be in season 1. You see her on the train. This is what I'm saying, Ginny should be there. She was in the first book for a couple seconds, but she was definitely there. So she was in at the very beginning of the book and at the very end of the book when Harry's on platform 9 3/4 both times. What are we doing? Then I have absolutely no clue on when the next lot of casting is officially announced, but as of a few weeks ago, there were still some bigger child roles to fill. So when they announced the casting of Seamus Finnegan and Mr. and Mrs. Dursley, that was about a month ago. So I feel probably in the next few days, honestly, they're gonna do some more announcements, I think. And it really begs to question how much of authority J.K. Rowling has on this new show, because I don't think she's got much authority whatsoever. If you're adding things and taking away things, it doesn't sound like it's really faithful adaptation. And so they've already been lying to the fans by saying, Snape's gonna be age accurate but not race accurate. We're gonna have this but not this. It's what are you doing? What are you doing? Seriously. So this first post was 10 days ago. This second post is 20 hours ago. And it says a little bit more information and casting news. Things are now wrapping up with casting, with seemingly only small roles left to be filled, which are now being finalized. With that in mind, it seems like official casting news is coming soon, so keep your eyes peeled in the next few weeks. They really are going for, in terms of casting, are going to make the show their own, with even more casting of characters that don't have speaking roles in the books or film. One example being Nicholas Flamel and his wife. Why? Some interesting information on Sarah Granger is that she'll be in multiple episodes in season 1, and as such, it seems like there will be more detailed backstory. Why? Finally, for those wondering, though I don't think they'll actually be twins, Padma Patel is definitely being cast this season. Why didn't you just cast identical twins? They're supposed to be identical. I don't know why the movies didn't do that in the first place either, but here we are. This is so stupid. On one hand, like I said, I understand making Hermione have more details and a backstory for her parents, so the payoff towards the end of the series is a little bit more risky and more emotional damage. I get that, right? But it sounds like they're filling in a whole bunch of fluff and expanding this lore, and I don't trust them to make this a good job. I really don't. For example, Nicholas Flamel and his wife have never been in the Harry Potter series. You only see Nicholas Flamel in Fantastic Beasts 2.
Nicolas Flamel.
Look how well that went. I'm just saying, why put these in? Like, you don't need to do that. This is just extra fluff. Why don't you flesh out the already existing book that it is? Ugh, I bet you they're gonna like throw in all this fluff and everything and remove some minor things from the books. It's gonna happen. And I gotta point out, there's a lot of extra women being thrown in here. How come Hermione's dad isn't in this, like, this whole leaks? Where is he? Why is Nicholas Flamel and his wife being shown? You see, like, a lot of women being thrown in. Like, what, we can't have, like, is that not enough women in the series to begin with? Like, what's going on here, you know? Now there's even more from 8 hours ago. Let's go. All the possible leaks at a glance. I thought it would be a good idea to have a thread that includes all the information given by a resident leaker, but I just want to make clear that I do not know how reliable the leaker is. I believe them to be true, but of course I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. Anyway, big thanks to whoever you are. Why do I feel like this is in Wizard Main undercover? Because remember, Wizard Main was the one who was accurately leaking everything. And then he got nuked, and I guess Warner Brothers found him. Who knows? But maybe it's Wizard Main in disguise. Hope you're well, Wizard Main. Okay, so it says, I put the information roughly in order from that's detailed info to that's no surprise, no information. All right, Hermione's mother has been cast and given the first name Sarah. She appears in multiple episodes. Nicholas and Perenelle Flamel will appear. Despite not being in book 1, Charlie Weasley will appear in season 1. Why? A Ravenclaw student whose only first appearance is in book 2 will be in season 1. Personal comment, if I'm not mistaken, the only Ravenclaw student introduced in book 2 is Penelope Clearwater. See, now I would have to go back and double check. This person may be right, but maybe Ernie, Justin, those are all Hufflepuffs, because the Hufflepuffs and Gryffindors have herbology together in Chamber Secrets. Yeah, it might just be Penelope Clearwater, I'm not sure. And then she is Percy's girlfriend, so I guess that makes sense. They're still dating in year 3 for Harry in Percy's final year, so maybe they're expanding that lore. Padma Patil has been cast, but the actress, as far as the leaker knows, not a twin of the actress who plays Parvati. I really hope that's not true. I really hope that they're identical twins. Like, how hard is it to cast identical twins? Anyway, Ernie McMillan and Justin Finch-Fletchley have been cast, or the Hufflepuffs. Professor Sprout will appear in season 1 in spite of her not having any lines in book 1. Well, that's fair because she's there, right? She's definitely there. We are introduced to her in the books, but she doesn't have any lines. So that to me, that's good. You're supposed to have that because she's supposed to be a background character until book 2. We can still expect the full Gryffindor and Slytherin Quidditch teams in season 1. Are we going to have all the matches and stuff? Neville is one of the characters whose casting has been open to all ethnicities. Do you guys remember my video a couple months ago saying, I think Neville's going to be black? And here's why. Because of that Boggart scene in Prison of Azkaban? I kind of think they're gonna race swap. Because they have to, because they're fucking retarded. Anyway. Nearly Headless Nick will appear in season 1. Nothing about the other ghosts. Well, I hope the other ghosts are in there. Professor Flitwick, Madame Pomfrey, Madame Hooch, and Madame Pince have been cast as well. I wonder who's going to play Professor Flitwick. Better not be, what's-his-face's name, Peter Dinklage. Dean's casting has definitely been done. So has probably Neville's casting. Listen, if you can race swap Snape, let's race swap Dean into, like, Chinese. Nothing known about the casting of Ginny. This does not mean that she's not in season 1, just that the person hasn't heard anything about it. Same for every other character they haven't heard. Among them are Arthur, Bill, Pansy, Narcissa, and Hermione's father. But why would Narcissa be there? I don't think we ever meet Narcissa until book 4, so... Also, that's not a leak by the original leaker, but it is confirmed that Peeves is in the TV series. Well, they announced that months and months ago when they were like, "Ew, Professor Snape and all the other actors are going to be the right age for their characters in the books, and then we'll have Peeves in the castle." Yes, we already know this. Anyway, if I have forgotten something, please tell me and I'll add it. So let's see. Let's go and look at the comments because they are pretty insightful. Casting and showing Hermione's mom in such a tiny detail that shows they're thinking of long-term effects. Seeing and connecting with Hermione's parents will have a huge effect on the audience when in 7th season Hermione removes their memory. Also will give insight on how Muggle parents react to this life-changing discovery of magic. Now, they're not wrong here. It does do some progression. You're not just randomly introduced. Like, for example, in Chamber Secrets, we do meet Hermione's parents. They don't have any lines. They're just kind of in the backgrounds. And then, like, we see them again in 7, and it's completely different actors. It's not like you have any emotional attachment to these actors or characters, so it's like, so I kind of understand, but at the same time, who is greenlighting, like, Sarah Granger and giving her more story? Who is it? Is it J.K. Rowling greenlighting it? Who? Like, who? I suspect we'll get some scenes that weren't included in the books, but we knew must have happened, like Hermione having a teacher come and hand her letter. Might also need a scene or two introducing her before then, too. Seems like one of the goals of the series is to be faithful to the source material. I doubt it very much. Turn to page 394. While expanding the viewpoint, by which I mean I have scenes involving the characters that we know of happen off-page in the books, but we don't see because we're mainly limited to Harry's perspective throughout the series. Vernon, the PM, and Snape being the exceptions come to mind. Well, I don't think Snape and faithful adaptation can be in the same sentence anymore, you know? I bet she'll be in episode 1 showing Hermione getting the letter, episode 2 at the platform, and the last episode again at the platform, probably. There's no real reason that the Patil twins need to be identical, though I hope they chose girls that you can at least believe would be siblings. What do you mean? They literally described as identical twins. There's no real reason, besides being faithful to the source material. Whatever, man, like... The copium in this thread is amazing. The only time it's significant is when Harry's questioning whether Dennis Creevey will be sorted into Gryffindor too, concerning him and Colin are siblings, and Hermione states not necessarily, because even the Patel twins are identical, they're in different houses. Probably difficult to cast identical twins the right age, and who also look at Indian. The actress in the movies weren't related either. Let me know your thoughts about all this shit below, because I'm not impressed by a lot of this. Like, part of it is like, okay, you're like introducing characters that shouldn't be there. Like Lucius Malfoy and Fudge in book 1, I thought it was because they were going to be filming season 1 and 2 back to back, so they're just casting everybody. But it doesn't seem like that anymore, so who knows? Now, let's just move on to what Jason Isaacs has said about Papa Ezidue casting as Severus Snape. Okay, so this comes from Collider. Jason Isaacs, who plays Lucius Malfoy in the original Harry Potter films, isn't pulling any punches when it comes to the online backlash surrounding the new Harry Potter series, especially towards the casting of Papa Ezidue as Severus Snape. During a panel moderated by Collider's Maggie Lovett at Fan Expo Denver, Isaacs made it clear that he's had enough of the racist comments being directed at the acclaimed British actor. Papa Ezidue is one of the best actors I've ever seen in my life. I've seen some people online who are being rude about him. What they're being is racist.
Look at me. How can you live with yourself, Lucius? I don't know.
I feel like when you say such huge things, like when you're calling fans racist, I feel like you better pull the receipts. Because you're just throwing these words around, and I don't think you know what that means, you know? Isaacs also revealed that he didn't get any casting intel, even from his own home. Funny enough, my daughter's from universities in the casting office for the show. She came for dinner, and she wouldn't fucking tell us anything. Unbelievable, what a waste of university tuition fees. Isn't it ironic how, like, his goddaughter is involved in the writing. His daughter's friend is involved in the casting. He himself was Lucius Malfoy. It sounds like you're in a club and no one else is allowed to be a part of it. Doesn't it? Sounds like a lot of Nepo children coming up. Just saying. Blah, 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 blah. All the cast of the new Harry Potter TV series are amazing. They'll be swallowing their tongues, hopefully, you know, their digital tongues, when they see what Papa does on screen. Are you sure about that? Are you? Are you? Yeah, whatever. The show is being made by the same people who made the films, and they're just taking the time to make each book into a whole season. It's going to be great. Okay, fake news, because it's not true. Francesca Gardner is the showrunner. Mark Mylod is the executive producer. Those guys were never involved in the original films. Yes, David Heyman is involved. We know that. Okay, cool. And J.K. Rowling apparently has some role, executive producer, yet she's just not reading the scripts? Huh? Like what? Anyway, it's all bullshit. If you haven't seen Jason Isaacs' Instagram, it kind of tells you a lot about him as a person. I'm just saying. So this isn't news to me, but if you're going to start calling people racist already and gaslighting the fans, which I already said would happen, that they would be gaslighting the fans into being they're the problem, not the ones being racist and race swapping the characters in the first place. No, you the fan, you're the racist. Well, I called it months ago. Here I am. Should probably go buy a lottery ticket because I was right. Anyway, let's move on. Do you guys want to know how well the recast Snape movement is doing. So, the other day, June 25, 2025, the Harry Potter Instagram account made 3 separate posts. None of them are related to the HBO casting, but it did not matter because look at this. This is everyone commenting saying recast Snape. This is on my Instagram, right? I recorded this. This is insane. Look at that. Not my Snape, not my Snape, not my Snape. Wow. And then it honestly just keeps going. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that. Look how many not my Snapes there are. And then there's another post. Harry Potter facts you may not have known. But then when you go and click on the comments, you might not have known. Your cast for Snape is thoroughly inaccurate. Stop commenting on Stop My Snape. I'm tired of liking these comments. Recast Snape. Snape's character is not even the same. Blah, blah, blah. And then there's another one here. Dust off those dress wraps. This is the WB Tour London, right? And then it's just full of not my Snape and recast Snape. It has nothing to do with the show, right? This is a studio tour post. Nuts. Nuts, I say. But there's even more. Petition against Papa Ezidue playing Professor Snape in the upcoming Harry Potter HBO series with 6,902 verified signatures. This is from change.org, mind you. I know I'm covering it with my camera right here, but that's nuts. But listen, it's never gonna happen. They're not gonna fire Papa Ezidue. I know there was rumors going around saying, oh, they fired him. They're not. They're sticking to the guns. They've made their bed. They're going to lie in it. They're going to shoot themselves in the foot because people are going to be really pissed off with this show. It's not looking so great. And again, if you forgot, J.K. Rowling, back in June 21st, 2025, I read the first 2 episodes of the forthcoming HBO Harry Potter series, and they are so good. Are they though? Alright guys, let me know your thoughts below. Everything that I've shared with you guys, I'd love to hear your opinion. Obviously, let me know if you think I'm batshit insane or if I'm on the money. Also, consider subscribing because I do all things Wizarding World related on this channel. I talk about collections, book reviews, items, Wizarding World news that are not related to the Harry Potter show, news that is related to the Harry Potter show, the theme park, you name it, I cover it. Alright, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys all next time. Bye.